Welcome back everyone. As promised, I'm going to be ripping apart this journal today. So this is my travel journal, and I've been mentioning in the last few videos that it's just too fat. I can't get it closed. It's really going to be hard, and it has been hard to do journaling on it. I've added in all these extra pockets that pull out and do all sorts of things. So I really want to be able to use it, because I think that this is going to be, well, it is already a really good journal for me. So today's the day that I'm ripping it apart. Now, having said that, I do not want to rip apart this cover. I want the cover to stay intact. The back one probably as well, although I've got nothing on the back of it at the moment. So I'm going to grab my craft knife and see what damage I can do. Okay, let's get started. Now what I've got in here are 5 signatures that are sewn on to a piece of manila card. Kind of helps that I remember how I put this together. And then that manila card is stuck onto the spine. So I don't want to have to re-sew all my signatures. I just want to cut them out of here. So I'll just get my knife in here and see what I can do to get them out without damaging the front cover or the back cover of the book. Now of course it's glued on fairly well, because I made sure when I put it together that I glued it on well. And now I want to get it off. Maybe I'll just yank it and see what happens. Let's see. Spine in half, or along the length of it like this. Just performing a bit of surgery. I'm sure that I can put it back together though. Now that's the original spine of the book, and there's my signatures that I sewed in. Okay, got that apart. I wonder if any of you have ever pulled apart a book. It'd be nice to know that I'm not alone in thinking that the book won't work for me anymore. So let's just pull it all apart. You can see all the glue that I've used to make sure that it was well in there, which of course is very important that you do that, to make sure your signatures don't fall out. Okay, there's one, and you'll see that that is still intact. I've still got the waxed thread there. The second one's coming out now. There you go. That's number 3. And then 4 and 5. There you go, all apart. Let's clean up some of this mess. I'll be able to work in them a lot better. And my plan is to create a new spine that I can use with the elastic, so I can slide these in, so I can take them out one at a time when I want to work on them, and it won't be such an issue that I've had in the past. Just finished tidying these last couple up. Now this one has actually broken, unfortunately. I'm going to have to re-sew that one. See what this one's like. And just the glue obviously caught that one and didn't like what it happened to it when it did. This one here, you can see which ones are thin. I've obviously used two of them a lot and the other 3 not so much, because this one, there's nothing to it. It's really thin. This one's a little bit bigger, and then this one is like super chunky, super chunky. You can see the difference of them there. And that's that one, and that's, I've got 2 here. Especially this one, I've hardly used it, which is going to be great now that I can actually open it up and use it. So there was one that I had to re-sew. Not that one, that one's fine, just this one, and then I'll see if this one needs to be redone. No, that's perfect. And this one's a little bit chunkier. So we'll just have a quick look at that thing I did the other day with the pull out. Easy now, I can get that in and out really easily. And then I've got this one here that I did, and you can see how flat I can get that now. Pull that out, and then there was another one on the back here again that I can pull like this. Pull out and push back in really easily because it lays flat. So I think this is a great idea. Now, as much as I want to keep this lovely old spine, I think it's going to go in the bin. Yeah, I just don't think I can do much with it. The only thing I can do, which I will do, is I'll take these bits of the ribbon out of the top and bottom. In fact, I'll try and see. Yep, there you go, it's coming open now. These bits of ribbon are always so lovely with their little markings. Sometimes they're stripes. This one is a little check. See, isn't that cute? Get that into focus. There you go. And there's always one on the top and one on the bottom, so you get 2. Can be reused in a snippet roll, or you could put them into a cluster or anything really. I do like to rescue these parts though. The rest is just, you know, fabric and glue and stuff like that, so that can go in the bin, but these bits are special. Okay. And I have a piece of cardstock. So I've still got my 2 covers, and all I want to do is I want to make this wider. It was fine, but it was just not wide enough. Let's get this off here. And the back cover. I might just leave that on there. I'll stick something over the top of it. So with this, I will measure what sort of size I need. Now before, my spine was a good 2 inches, and clearly that's not enough. So I'm going to have to make it maybe at least 3 inches this time. I'll see, just measure it out and see. I'm going to use the flaps to stick this down onto it because that'll hold the whole thing. Let's just measure it up first. So I've just drawn on top of this book. So the spine will need to just be below that line just a little bit. And I'll just use my craft knife to cut the chipboard down. This is actually the cover off a paper pad. And it's quite thick, so that's why I thought I would use it. You can see it's quite thick, it'll be fine for the spine. And then I want to work out the size. So obviously I'm going to have to give each signature some more room. So I can slip them in and then I'll take them out. Let's just see how far I want this to come. So I think a good inch here. Let's start with an inch. So that will stick onto there. And I've got 5 signatures. So if I do them every half an inch, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 inch, 1, 2, 3, 4, one there and one there, 3 in the center, and then an inch on the end. That's going to be massive. Let's just have a look how big that's going to be. Put that in here. And this one here, I just want to see how big that's going to be. It's going to be chunky, so that makes it 4.5 inches. That might be too big. Might be too big. I'm going to go every half an inch, starting from the beginning, not leave an inch. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so this will be the end. So that means it'll be 3, and it was 2.5. No, maybe I'll take it to 3/4. Try again. I'm going to take it to 3/4 at each end. So I'm going to start that at 3/4, and then I'm going to come every half an inch, 3, 4, 5, and then have 3/4 at the end. And that will be there. And this one will be on here. So it's going to be bigger than it was, much bigger, by a whole inch. I think that's fine. That's what I'm going to do. So let me cut this down. So I have to come across 3.5 inches. And that one's already at 3.5 inches. Make sure, yep, that's going to be the size. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots in here. Okay, let's cut this out. Then I need to make some more lines at the half-inch mark because I'll need to do some punching of some holes in here. No, let's try again. At the 3, I have to do 3/4 to start with, okay, and then every half an inch from there. Half, 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 half. Yep. And I'll just do the same up here, 3/4, and then every half. Okay, and then let's join those. I've got lots of lines. I know what I'm doing though, so let's not worry. Not worry too much anyway. Till I get it together, and then maybe it'll be a worry. Let's see, is that there? Yep. Okay, so now I want to come down, not too far though, because I need to put some elastic so that I can slip this under there. So the centre of them, and remember some of them are chunky and some of them I haven't yet used very much. I need to slip this under that elastic. So I'm just seeing how much space I've got top and bottom. I perhaps have 1/2 inch if I'm lucky. Yep, 1/2 inch. It's probably more like 3/8 of an inch, so I think I'm going to come down 3/8 of an inch on either end. Let's go up to something that measures a bit bigger, 3/8 of an inch. So that's there, and then on the other side, I'll go into the line, I think. 1, 2, 3. So I need to punch holes across here. I'm not doing holes in the centre because this is going to be a single piece of elastic. So if I put holes in the centre, I won't be able to thread the books on, each individual signature on. And 3/8 of an inch there. And then my crocodile. Right. To the biggest hole and punch. Now I'm just going to go, I'm just going just below that. I'm not going right on it, I'll just come just below it. Might be better to turn it up the other way actually. Might be able to eyeball that a little bit better if I'm looking at it from here. Yeah, much better. 3. That's pretty good. Let's do the other one. Again, just below, just got catching the top of the hole on that crosshatch that I've made. Because I haven't come up far enough on these ones, I have to just draw them. Make sure I get them in the right spot. Right. Okay. Cut this at an angle so that it doesn't interfere with the top and bottom hole, and I can still get as much contact as I can on to the new piece of card that's going to fill in as the spine. Yep, that's fine there. And the other piece is here. So I'll just repeat that on here. Make sure it's not interfering, which it's not. Okay, so that will go on there. Also, I want to make sure I can still open it without it pulling too much. And then the back cover can go on the same. Now I just have to make sure I've got the back cover up the right way. I'd hate to have one up the right way and one upside down and have to start again. I'm choosing to use this piece of Tim Holtz paper because I like the stripe, and I'm just making it as big as this, and hopefully that will work. And I'll have to re-punch my holes once I get this paper on. I'm only putting it on one side, so I'll be able to see what I'm doing when I re-punch those holes that I did earlier. And what I'm going to do is just cut them off right there so that they don't go all the way and cover those holes again. Because when I take the piece and put it on here, I will then cover the holes, which also will include covering the back of the eyelet that I'm going to set in the back spine now. I'm going with black. I think I've got enough, so I'll use the black ones and set these into here. Now the chipboard is thick, so I'm hoping that they will actually set. We'll try one, and then if it doesn't work, we won't do any more. Yep, it's fine, it's coming through. It's caught really well, actually. Now I'll use this washi tape. I will put some tape underneath it as well, just to hold these edges down. And this is a nice one because it's got a, like places in New York on it. That's lovely. I'll just do a second row on here, I think. Just because that one on this side is just didn't quite catch. So I'll use a bit more to hide that. Still looks fine because I've put it at the halfway point. So it just looks like 3 rows. It actually probably looks better than what it did now. I definitely want paper on here before I thread the elastic. And I'm just wondering if I should put some washi across the top of this so that when I thread the elastic I don't actually get the holes. I can just poke the holes through with my pokey tool. Let's see if that's going to work. And then I can poke the holes just through again like this. And then from the other side, I'll just put that in. And then this one can get stuck down on the inside spine, and then I'm ready to thread the elastic and put it back together. Now, unbelievably, I can't seem to find my hat elastic. And maybe I've run out, I don't know. But just because I want to do one thing and see what it looks like, I'm going to put one of these in with this other thread I've got. It's not elastic, so I will have to change it over. And I just wanted to show you what the final thing would look like. And obviously because it's not elastic, I cannot get it to thread through after I've tied it on. But let's just put one of them on. So it's going to have 5 rows of the hat elastic, and then inside you will have the 5 signatures, and then when I want the signature I can just, obviously the elastic's expandable, and I will just slip that out and then use it. And then the 5 of them will sit much better in here because this is a much bigger spine. So let's just have a look at them all in here. You can see there's a lot more room in there now, much more room, and it's a It's a really chunky spine. I don't think I've done a spine this big before, but that's fine because it suits my needs with the travel journal, and I think that's a super good way of fixing the problem that I had. And now I'll get much more use out of it. I'll be able to pull this out and actually do my journaling on it rather than struggling as I was when I was doing, you know, this one, for example, the other day, because all of these will just then lie flat on the table and allowing me to write things in here much easier. So I hope you enjoyed that journey with me, pulling apart my travel journal, and I would suggest if you have a similar problem that maybe you can get some use out of this video and pull yours apart as well and redo it. I just have to visit the fabric shop to get some more black hat elastic, although I thought I bought plenty. Maybe I've just misplaced it. I'll go and see if I can find that now. So that's it for today. Thanks very much for joining me. This is Deborah. Cheers.